It is my pleasure to have another vet this Sunday to come speak for us. I tell you, I think to me personally, it hit it off for me the first time I went to Gordon's house and sat down at his table and sat with him and conversed with him and found out a little bit about Gordon. That he was a man of faith. And one thing I learned from Gordon at that time, and he kind of reminds me of it all the time too. You know, he doesn't hold ill resentment towards anybody or anything or about anything. He is a free spirit, and that he's been set free. God has given him the ability to be free. You know, we all go through turmoil, and as you read some signs every now and then, you don't have a testimony until you've been tested. If you haven't been tested, you don't have a testimony to give. And Gordon's been tested in life, and he served during the Korean War during that time, and he knows what it's like to sleep in a tent too, I think. But I am so proud to have Gordon come and share with us whatever the Lord has laid upon his heart. We love you, Gordon. Come on. Come on down. The price is right.
I don't know if I am or not, though. I want you folks to know that I am not a preacher. I am not a Bible teacher. But I thought, I said, I'll never in this world get enough together to do this for a while. Now I'm going to get to compete with Fred and Perry. It was good. Everything's been great. I did choose a little scripture for this morning. I searched looking for something that might pertain to our army today and our soldiers. And I found this in Matthew chapter 8, verses 5 through 10. And Jesus was entered into Capernaum. There came to him a centurion, beseeching him, and saying, Lord, my servant lieth at home sick of the palsy, grievously tormented. And Jesus saith unto him, I will come and heal him. The centurion answered and said, Lord, I am not worthy that thou should come under my roof. But speak the word only, and my servant shall be healed. For I am a man under authority, having soldiers under me, and I say to this man, Go, and he goeth, and to another, Come, and he cometh, to my servant. Do this, and he doeth it. When Jesus had heard it, he marveled and said unto them that followed, Verily I say unto you, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel. Now this passage really is a passage, gives us a message of faith. At the same time, in verse 9, I'll read down again. For I am a man under authority, having soldiers under me, and I say to this man, Go, and he goeth, and to another, Come, and he cometh, and to my servant, Do this, and he doeth it. We speak of this today as the chain of command in service. You start with the President of the United States, come down to a private first class. I can't say a private, that's about as low as you can get in rank. But here, this centurion tells Jesus that he's not worthy to have him in his home because he is authority. Now today we have all of our men, depending on their rank, are men of authority and have men under them. That's why I chose this particular passage. It's just like it was back in the day of Jesus. They had the authority, and they had the high ranking into the low ranking, and this man, this centurion, happened to be a Roman soldier. I have something else that my wife was a member of the Eastern Star, a chapter in Kings Mountain, North Carolina, and there was a little paper once a month came out, and she got it, and it had this in it years ago. This was written by Bob McLaughlin, and he is a veteran, 30 years plus in the Marine Corps, and this is his salute to veterans. On Veterans as a day, each of us should take a moment to remember and thank our service members, both past and present, who have made outstanding contributions to protecting the ideals and values of our great country, which our great country has developed and strived to maintain. So no matter what your individual views of the current situation in Iraq or Afghanistan are, please take every moment available to thank every serviceman and servicewoman you see, as well as their spouses, children, and parents. They each have made and continue to make great sacrifices to protect us all. Being a veteran with combat experience has helped me appreciate both the difference and similarities between military and civilian world. Our service members are faced with pressures that few in civilian world can imagine. The stress and fears that combat brings are incomparable to any stress or fear experienced in the real world. And while it doesn't make most who experience it stronger, it also gives them the ability to put everything else in life in true perspective. When I find myself complaining or stressing out about an event in my life, I think of thousands of uniforms on front lines in Iraq and Afghanistan, away from their families, their friends, and in harm's way every minute of every day. My worries do not seem overwhelming when I compare them to what these brave individuals experience on the front lines. They experience this 24 hours a day, every second of the day. You can imagine in the combat zone where it's just 24 hours a day, it's stress, and they're very stressful to our men. Another difference between civilian and military world is stability. Military members must often relocate. When families are involved, they can be stressful and hard on the spouse and children. The spouse must often find new work. The children must attend new schools, and everyone leaves families behind and must find new friends. I learned a lot in my 30 years experience in the United States Marine Corps and have applied to my everyday living the mainstay of all service personnel in the concept of duty, honor, and courage. All branches of military focus on these three building blocks for the developing of the type soldier needed to serve our country. I have tried to keep these 3 points as my foundation in order to be the best I can be no matter what task or goal I set for myself. Duty. Duty involves being in the right place at the right time and doing the right things to be successful and grow both personally and professionally. When I think of duty, I feel that it's important to do very best I can in every situation. No one cares for excuses, and they serve no purpose. So I do my best to eliminate them altogether. When I think of honor, I equate this with dignity and self-respect. Honor revolves around honesty and the golden rule. I feel that if I am honest with everyone with whom I work, and if I treat everyone with respect and kindness I would like to be shown, I am acting honorably in every sense of the word. Courage is the ability to make tough decisions and stand up to what I feel is right. Courage is also admitting when I make a mistake or do not follow them through with the task, rather than make excuses or place the blame elsewhere. When I think of courage, I equate this with making those tough decisions that may affect my future but will benefit someone else's. Courage also involves standing up for yourself when you feel you are correct or justified in the actions, and also conceding when you are wrong. My military career has given me many insights into life after the Marine Corps and how to get the most out of what life has to offer. As you meet those in uniform, or those who are veterans, thank them for the dedication and their service in protecting the ideals upon which this nation was founded. This 30-year vet wrote this particularly for Veterans Day. A little bit long, but it was a lot of good points there that was made, particularly with families. You can imagine a family, husband is in service. At the present time, best I know, they rotate men every 3 years. The family has to pick up and move every 3 years, more or less. And you can imagine what it would be to have to find a new church, new friends, new schools, new work. It's very stressful to the parents or the spouses and children and parents of servicemen. That's about all I have on that. Now I'm going to really bore you. A little bit here on my career in service. It started kind of funny in a way. It started on Thanksgiving Day, 1950. My mother's brother, my Uncle James, was in World War II, and of course the war was over, and he was on the Cleveland County Draft Board. So that Thanksgiving Day, Grandma, my mother, and all my uncles, he said, "Gordon," he said, "you're going to have to join the Air Force, the Navy, Marines, or he said, "I'm going to put you in the Army. Your number is up." And every number has a name. So he had my name and number. He said, "I'm going to have to put you in the Army if you don't want to join something." I was trying to go to school, Presbyterian Junior College in Maxton, North Carolina, and I asked him, I said, "Can I finish the semester?" He said, "Yeah, I can hold to January, a little along that line." So he did. And I decided to join the Air Force. I got to thinking about it. I said, I don't want to have to crawl around in the mud, and sleep in a 2-man pup tent on the ground, and carry a 30, 40-pound pack on my back, hiking 30, 40 miles. I said, I'm going to join the Air Force. So I did. Got to Lackland Air Force Base, and I said, oh my, what have I got myself into? First of all, winter in January, the runways were frozen in San Antonio, Texas, had ice on them. They carried us about 40 miles south to a landing strip and sent 6 buys, which is a big Army truck, to pick us up. It had no canvas cover on it or nothing, so for 40 miles we rode in a big truck convertible, freezing to death. But anyway, We finally got established there. Till one night we slept on the floor in the barracks. The next day they put us in a tent. Now I've been trying to get away from this tent business. They put us in the tent and it had a dirt floor and it would rain and the water would on a little slope. That sergeant blow his whistle in 4 o'clock in the morning, stick his head in the tent, blow that whistle, and it scared you to death. You jumped up, your feet hit the mud, and you had to put socks, shoes. You had to be in formation about 3 or 4 minutes. So anyway, after a while, we got into barracks. From there, I was sent to Santa Maria, California, and I was lucky. It's the University of Southern California College of Aeronautics. They taught mechanics and airframe and engine repair and everything about there. Also, they taught pilots, commercial pilots. We had civilian instructors and got away from that chow hall food. We had ladies that were hired from Santa Maria. They were cooking for us, and we had it made there for about 18 weeks. From there, I went to Chanute Air Force Base, Illinois, specialized as an aircraft electrician. And I didn't want that, but that's what they said you're going to do, so I done it. That school, it's pretty hard. Anyway, after the schooling there, I went to Alexandria, Louisiana, to Alexandria Municipal Air Base. It was municipal because they also had commercial planes that landed there. From there, I was there from November until May. The days, I'm not sure. But it's from May we shipped out to France. And pretty good duty in Alexandria, nice barracks and everything. But anyway, we got to France, and there again, come up on these tents. They were rebuilding this base. The French owned it, and at one time, World War II. The hangar was not big enough to hardly get one of our little fighter planes in to work on it. But we were in tents. Well, it's better than it wasn't basic training where it was in the mud and dirt. It had a cement floor, 2x4 framing with a canvas tent thrown over top of it. And I was in there for 28 months in that tent. I said I might have been better off in the Army. Anyway, that worked out all right. Then for about 4 months before I left to come home, we were in brand new barracks for 4 months. And I have never seen a slower bunch of workers in my life as the French were who were building this thing. It took 28 months to get our barracks done, built. Anyway, came home. There's one thing I'd like to say. This is not military, but personal in a way. When I was in Kings Mountain, North Carolina, our next door neighbor, Mr. Moorhead, and his wife, they had one son. His name was Manley. I knew Manley real well. Of course, he was older than himself. World War II, he was, I'm not sure whether he was a gunner, a radio operator, or a navigator. These are enlisted men. The rest of them, the pilot, co-pilot, bombardier, they were officers. But the plane that Manley was on was shot down in pants by the Germans. And this kind of chokes me up, just bear with me. But Mr. and Ms. Moorhead had talked to people about when they found out someone was coming to France to go to the cemetery where Manley was buried. Well, it was, the city was Nancy, France. Well, I wanted to go to Nancy, France anyway because my daddy, who was in World War I, he spoke of Nancy, France. So it suited me fine. It went to a small village outside of Nancy, Saint-Avold, A-V-O-L-D, was the name of the little village. And I have never seen a more beautiful sight. There was a huge mound with a building on it. This man had been built. And this building had, I don't know how many sides, just little squares all the way around it. You could see the whole cemetery. And you could turn, I guess, 1 or 2 degrees, just keep turning. And every time you turned, every row was perfect. Every row, all the way around, was perfect. And I don't think there was one blade of grass in this whole deal, whole area, larger than all of it. It was just perfect, well maintained. And in this building, you could go to the books and look up names and find out where they were. So we found Manly Moorhead, I did. And before we left Nancy that morning, I bought a wreath, small one, because these black graves are close together, just a small oval wreath, and put it on Manly's grave. And I guess I took 25 or 30 pictures all the way around, anyway, all the whole cemetery and everything. I sent those back home to Ms. Moorhead. And they sent word back that when I got home, they wanted me to come to their home. That was the hardest thing I ever done. I cried the whole time I was there. Talking to these people and, showing them where. But all of these, I guess there were thousands of white crosses in this cemetery. All of these were American men who died. And most of them from the B-17s that were shot down. We lost thousands of B-17s, and each B-17, I guess, had carried a crew of about, 13, 14 men. And but all of these, this whole cemetery was American soldiers that gave their supreme sacrifice, their life for us. And we always want to remember those. Well, I guess that's about all I'm going to bore y'all with. While I was over there, I did, in France, I did get to Germany twice, TDY, so I saw Weismar in Germany. And also Tripoli, North Africa. I had to fly down there with our planes. We went down there for gunnery practice over there, Tripoli, North Africa. So it was good in a way. It was a great blessing in a way, my service career. It helped me tremendously. It disciplined me toward any kind of hardships or anything else. Now, like Perry was saying a while ago when he visited with me, he didn't ask me too many questions. I told him one day, at church, I wanted to join. And he said he would come to my house and talk to me. I didn't give him a chance to ask me too many questions. He came in and we talked for a minute. And I just said, I'll tell you how I believe. I said, I don't care what happens. It doesn't make a bit of difference in the world to me. I said, if I mash my finger, I cut my finger. I said, the other day I was washing dishes and had the water too hot because it was going to scald my hand. All of this, I take everything that happens as a blessing. Everything. If it's bad, like mashing the thumb or something, it'd say, Gordon, you just had a lesson there. Be careful next time. But that's how I feel about life. And the Lord led me to this church. I was in church when we came down for a good while, and something happened in the church, and we got out. We left. I did, my family. And I was out for a good while. And of course, my wife had passed away. And the walls got closing in on me. And I would look at the clock and I said, hey, it's only 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. I wish it'd hurry up and be 10:30, 11 so I go to bed. That's how I was getting to that point. And I knew about this little church. And sometime, every now and then I'd think about it. Well, I woke up one Sunday morning, and I was sitting on the bed. I said, I'm going to church. And here I came. The Lord led me here. And I'm going to tell you something else. Shirley might not want to hear this. I found Shirley has been mean the world to me. She really has. And I think maybe I've helped her. We both needed a little help, and we found it in each other, and that's all because God sent me to this church and sent me to Shirley Carter. That's exactly how I feel, and Perry, I'll let you have it from here.